So is Sig Sauer reliable? The P320? Probably not. The P365? I'd say yes. But what about the SIG Spear LT? Well, let's find that out today by putting 500 rounds through this and giving you a general overview if this is worth picking up for you. Guys, if you have a golden retriever or a black lab, make sure to hit that subscribe button today. First thing to note, you're probably laughing at me saying, Brian, that's not a Spear LT. But in fact it is. Well, kind of. What this is a 16-inch SIG Spear LT conversion kit. It's actually pretty cool because what it allows you to do is take a normal AR-15 lower. This is actually just a Aero M4 E1 lower, and then you can convert that to a SIG Spear LT. So that's exactly what I did with this. We'll get more into the details of this later, but as far as what comes with that bundle, we get the 16-inch upper. It came with the Romeo 4 XT Pro, this adapter piece in order to convert your lower to a SIG Spear lower, and then also the SIG Spear buttstock. The ammo we're using today is X-Tac PMC X-Tac 55 grain, basically range ammo. Magazines that we're using, I'm gonna stick to Magpul Gen 2 and Gen 3. And then later in the video, you can see over here, I have the red-headed stepchild cousin of the Spear LT, which is the Palmetto State Armory JAKL. Kind of same, but different, which we'll get to later in the video. Full disclosure, while we're getting set up here, I reached out to SIG and they were kind enough to give a measly 20% discount on this conversion kit, which for those of you who know, 20% off a MSRP SIG is still about the same price of a very high-end AR-15. But even with that discount, I still picked this up with my own schmeckles, and none of that will let our opinion be biased for today's video. I've already been talking too long, so let's get the first couple mags through this, make sure this dot zeroed in, and start testing the reliability of the SIG Spear LT. We got the first 100 or so rounds down there and already nice and hot. One cool thing about the SIG Spear LT is that you do have an adjustable gas block, and I'm gonna go adjustable, which I'll show you why in a sec. Back here on the handguard, you can see an arrow down with a plus sign, and on this side, you can see an arrow down with a minus sign. What that indicates is your gas setting. It's all the way up here, at least on the 16-inch model. So right now I have it tilted towards the plus side. Let's run it in the plus setting, the minus setting, see what the difference is unsuppressed, and then let's add a suppressor to it and do the same thing to see what the gas looks like, as well as the ejection pattern on our casings. One thing to note though, this isn't like a fully adjustable one, it's just the plus or minus side, so you have two options. On a lot of other adjustable gas blocks, they'll have like 5 or 7 settings, but for the SIG Spear LT, plus or minus, 2 options, pick one. First up, we're running it unsuppressed in the plus setting, so it's tilted this way. From that, it looks like our casings were going at about 2 o'clock, so I would call that over gas, which makes sense because it was on the plus setting. Now, let's go ahead and switch it to the minus setting and try it again. Interesting. So on the minus setting, we had a perfect ejection at about 4 or like 330, and that was running it unsuppressed. Now let's add the suppressor and do the same thing. The suppressor we're running on this setup is a Dead Air Lazarus 6. Now this is a vent through suppressor. I think they advertise about 80% goes forward and not back into the system. But that being said, we'll still adjust the gas block and see what that ejection pattern looks like. First up, I'm gonna go ahead and put it to the plus setting, so more gas. So similar to running it unsuppressed in the plus setting, our ejection pattern was about like 2 o'clock or so. And now let's go ahead and switch it back to the minus setting and run it suppressed. So definitely runs best in the minus position with the suppressor on. In the plus, it was, I don't know, like 2 o'clock, but then in the minus position, it was about 2:30 or 2:45. So it was a little better. I think generally speaking, if you have a SIG Spear, I would run it in the minus position just 99% of the time, suppressed or unsuppressed. I think this plus setting is more so if you're gonna be using crappy ammo, and that plus setting is gonna overgas the system, so that way you can run any type of crappy ammo then. Huh, pretty cool. Next up, let's start dicing through some ammo and do some build drills here. We'll start close and work our way back. Nice, all A zones. All right, we got that golden hour sun here, and I want to talk real quick about the SIG Spear LT versus a PSA JAKL. The cool main thing to point out with both of these is that the stocks or braces, whatever you have on, they do fold, and you can actually shoot both of them folded. However, as far as the operating system goes, these are very different. For the JAKL up top here, once you get the bolt out, you can see it's actually very similar to a AK. You have your recoil spring here in the rear that goes in like that, and then you have your bolt all connected here, which again looks very much like an AK. The SIG Spear, however, keeps that AR-15 look and feel. The bolt looks very similar to an AR-15, but up top you have this dual spring, and this is where the bolt reciprocates back and forth and cycles the gun. Also with the SIG Spear LT, you keep the rear charging handle, which guys, this thing sucks. But on the JAKL, we have the forward charging handle as seen here. The other big thing to note with these two, comparing them, is the adjustable gas block. We already talked about the SIG and how you have a plus or minus. That's it for your options. For the JAKL, however, you actually have, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different settings. And you can see with my marker, I marked my unsuppressed setting, and then this one here is my suppressed setting. So you have more options to adjust that gas. And between these two, I think the JAKL does shoot smoother because of that right there. SIG Spear is definitely gonna be more reliable because of the overgassing, and that's the whole point behind this setup and it being like the military gun. But for the JAKL, this is much more pleasant and smooth to shoot once you get it all tuned up right. Right now we're at the back of the bay, and unfortunately these bays are only about 25 yards, but I wanted to see how tight of a group we can get at 25 yards with the SIG Spear 16-inch setup. Ugh, and of course I'm looking into the sun now. Let's go look. All right, not too bad. As far as our group size, you can see here's a 5.56 round. Everything fits about in there. Definitely some user error here. You saw the nasty glare. And yeah, I'm just making a bunch of excuses. But this was the first 5 grouping. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the second one, I shot down here and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've definitely seen worse and I've definitely seen better. I'd be curious to get this out to about 100 yards though, put a magnifier or an LPVO on it and see what the accuracy looks like then. But for 25 yards, I'd say that's not too bad, but I know, could be better. So let's get through some more mags so we can round this test out. While I'm racking up the round count in the Spear LT on screen here, let's go over a couple features that SIG advertises with this. Again, for this conversion kit, it adapts to any M4 AR-15 mil-spec lower assembly. The dual rod recoil assembly eliminates buffer system, M4 adapter, and included telescoping Coyote stock assembly, which I found fit together pretty nicely. Comes with the Romeo 4 XT Pro red dot, with the mount, flip back lens covers, as well as a kill flash. Comes with the Sig Sauer M-Lock vertical grip, has an adjustable gas system for suppressor optimization. Quick change barrel design allows to easily and consistently swap calibers and barrel lengths. Now, we won't get to do that in this video. This platform is a gas piston design which reduces part exposure and carbon fouling. The SIG Spear LT is designed to go 20,000 rounds before any parts need replaced. And after this 500 round test today, I only need 19,500 more rounds to test if that's true. The SLX SLH next gen suppressor design QD flash hider for clutch lock ability, ambidextrous charging handle with gas deflector. It feels cheap and is pretty bad. Replaceable parts, cam path follower, feed ramp, forward assist deflector, charging handle locking pins. allow for longer receiver life over standard AR designs. Tapered bolt design functions more reliably and lasts longer than standard square lug M4 bolt designs. And lastly, it has a nitride-coated cold hammer forged barrel for optimal accuracy and barrel life. The suppressor's too quiet. It doesn't pick up on the timer. It's just still running. All right, everyone always asks, can it shoot folded? Of course it can. Okay, I thought we had a malfunction, but we don't. While I was being a goon and shooting the gun with the buttstock folded, the last round did not lock the bolt back to the rear. You can see nothing in there, but it didn't lock back. Reason being is because, again, this is the AR-15 lower, and the buttstock, when it's folded, it pushes up against the bolt release right here on this side, so it didn't allow that to pop up and lock the bolt back. Man, I was kind of hoping for a malfunction so we could talk some smack about SIG, but I gotta hand it to them. They got a pretty good product here, but just note, if you're gonna shoot with the stock folded, your bolt will not lock back. Before we wrap this test up here, figured I'd give you a rundown of everything I put on this. First up, we are running the Dead Air Lazarus 6, and that's a Dead Air Xeno flash hider, or A2 flash hider under there. 16-inch Spear LT upper, the conversion kit one, as we talked about. On the front here, I am running a Surefire Scout Light Turbo. One of my favorite lights on the market, throws high candela out super far, and I'm too poor for all the switches, so I just use a little tail cap here at the bottom. The grip, this is the Sig Sauer vertical grip. It comes with the upper conversion kit. Works pretty good. I'll keep it on there. Moving back, this was kind of a joke, but I'm pretty happy with it. The SIG Spear handguard does not have a QD mount, so I bought a bundle pack from Amazon of M-LOK QD mounts, and I was surprised this actually held up. Cool thing about this, it's a non-rotating one, so once you lock it in, it locks the QD mount. Only downside though is it's like reflective black, or like metallic black. I'll probably just paint this more of a matte color. Behind that, we have a Neomag Sentry strap. This is my favorite way to manage your sling on the rifle. Speaking of sling, this is a Doughboy Tactical Cobra sling, kind of similar to the Magpul sling where you can turn it into a single point or a double point. You can see the hook here. But the thing I like about this is they weave this paracord on here. So if you ever need rope or paracord, you got it on there. And it's always good to support the local homies. On top, as mentioned, this is the Sig Sauer Romeo 4 XT Pro. Phenomenal red dot optic. And again, this does come with the conversion kit, which kind of makes the bundle worth it in a sense. That alone's like 600 schmeckles. It does come with a kill flash you can put on, or just a clear protective lens cap. I'll put up some video to show you what I'm talking about here right now. And also the dot is pretty awesome. I'll show you comparing it to with the kill flash on and then with the kill flash off. I was looking into the sun all day, so the glare was pretty bad, so I took the kill flash off. But then also I'll show you comparing it to an EOTech. I'm gonna be honest, the EOTech does have a much larger window, and I do like the holographic versus the red dot better. But when it comes to the battery life and reliability, I'm gonna give it to the SIG. This thing runs on AAA batteries, has shake away, so you can leave it on all the time, versus the EOTech runs on those CR123A batteries, and you're probably gonna need to swap those every 6 months or so. But both are great. I do like this Romeo though. I'm gonna keep it on there. On our lower is a X-Tech adjustable AR grip. Basically what you can do is adjust this to the right cant that you want, whether it be more vertical or more slanted back, and you can secure it in and have the right angle. Pretty cool, but the one thing about it is once you get the right angle, you're not gonna be adjusting it much. So I don't know, to each its own. Safety selector. This is the Aero Precision safety selector. I do like that it matches the burnt bronze color of the rifle, but as far as functionality, I don't like it at all. I will take my Radian safety selector any day over this. The Radian's just much more crisp. It's like a spot and then it snaps to the other spot. This one kind of grinds through where it's like on safe and then it just kind of like, and then you think you're in the right spot to fire, you pull the trigger, it works. And then you go back to safe and it's like almost like a really used windshield wiper on a car. So I'll probably be swapping the safety selector to a Radian one. Charging handle on this is total garbage. You'll see all the other reviews online talking about this. This SIG one is just so flimsy, and I feel like right here like this, if I just pushed, it would just bend and break. So you gotta find the right aftermarket charging handle to swap this out. But yeah, that thing is garbage. The adapter piece. This is pretty cool, super simple to install on your AR lower. Once you do get it in, you do have a QD mount on the bottom here. I know some people like to run their slings there. And then this converts it to a 1913 pick rail where we can put our stock. And again, this Sig Sauer stock did come in this conversion kit. It's not bad. I've heard a lot of people complain about the Spear being very front heavy, which it definitely is. So maybe if you could add like a counterweight to the back, it might balance the gun out a little more. Super easy to adjust. You got the button here. It'll go in, out. You got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spots. And then you do have a QD mount on both sides, so you can run a sling back here if you wanted to, which is is what I did. SIG was cool to keep it retro with the forward assist that's still integrated on their upper. And then on the other side, again, since this is just a regular AR-15 lower, it's just standard AR-15 control. The one downside though, I wish that I could put a bad lever on this, so that way I had kind of like an ambidextrous control. But this upper is very beefy. You can see how much more it sticks out compared to the lower there. So you cannot get the bad lever paddle behind and get it secured on, or just in general, the bad lever just doesn't work on this. Another option, just get an ambidextrous lower and put that on your Spear upper. So there you have it, guys. We answered the question, is a SIG Spear LT reliable? I would say yes. Shooting this gun was a ton of fun, but the biggest downside, I think, of this whole system is that it is just very gassy. Running a suppressor on it in the minus position for the gas block, and this is a vent-through suppressor from dead air, I was still getting a lot of gas back in the system, but that's the way SIG engineered the Spear LT, to be over-gassed, so that way all your crappy ammo is gonna run right through this, and you won't have any malfunction. So it's kind of like a pro and con there. Over-gassed, but very reliable. No malfunctions with the 500 rounds we ran through. The one thing we did find out though is if you're gonna shoot the gun, just like what happened there, if you're gonna shoot the gun with the stock folded, it does hold that bolt release, so the bolt will not lock back on the last round. I know, very silly thing, but now you know. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the SIG Spear. Is it something you're gonna pick up or nah? Until next time, have fun shooting, and we'll see you soon.